today we're going to have a tiny little look at what we're talking about here, which is your life piece. And when I was saying earlier, when I'm talking about your life, what I'm really talking about is all of the different elements of your life that make up the experience you have outside of what we experience in ourselves. So your soul piece is really about your perception of the world. Nobody else experiences what you feel energetically. Nobody else experiences what you think. Nobody else experiences your emotions. Nobody else experiences your physical health. So your soul piece is made up of all of the parts that make you you. Today, what we're talking about is your life piece. And your life piece is all about the part that makes you interact with the world, the environment you have around you, the people you have around you, the way that you live your life, the things that you do, the way that you spend your time. Now, the big focus for our call today is really actually around the relationships, because I know for so many people, in fact, nearly everybody I speak to, one of the biggest challenges that we tend to have in our lives isn't necessarily that we can't get ourselves into flow, although that might be a challenge sometimes. It's actually learning to deal with the other people in our life experience, because not everyone's been necessarily on the same journey as you. Not everybody in your life might be into personal development or learning how to change their life or figuring out how to do things better for themselves. And it can become a real challenge learning to interact with people who either don't get this or are living their life in an old paradigm way. Now, for those of you who missed our call, the video that we did on Friday, old paradigm and new paradigm. Old paradigm is basically living life based in fear, lack, mistrust, blame, shame, guilt, overwhelm. It's about projecting your energy onto others. It's about not being fully responsible for your life experience. Many of us have been brought up in an old paradigm way of thinking and living. Everything that we talk about within EAM, everything within the book, everything in the 10-month journey, everything at the events that we do is all about living your life in a new paradigm way. It's all about stepping into the new paradigm and learning to live your life from a place of love, of flow, of freedom, of abundance, of being fully responsible for you, your energy, your words, your thoughts, your actions, and knowing that you are the only person in your life that has the power to shift and change your experience, whether you're shifting and changing it from something bad to something good, or whether you're shifting it from something good to something bad. We are the only person that can change our experience of what we see and perceive in our world. And that's what I want to kind of touch on briefly in our call today and on this video. So for those of you who haven't seen this before, the flip chart is coming out. Actually, no, the flip chart is not coming out. I'm going to show you the picture in here in a bit. Hold on 1 second. So what I want to talk to you about is, some of you will have seen me talk about this before, is one of the biggest parts of the work that we do within the EAM is we talk about this. Some of you might have seen this here. Whoa. I'm doing this all backwards. There we go. The triangle on the bottom, where we talk about the pusher, the protector, and the puller. And here in the middle, you'll see that when we're really in flow, it's about our energy coming from being in our power. So I am going to draw it out on the flip chart because it's just a little bit easier. Let me just bring in my glamorous assistant for you. Hold on. So these three energy dynamics, some of you will have heard me talk about this before, but it is so important to understand. This is actually based on a theory known as the Karpman drama triangle from transactional analysis. And basically everything in our life experience, all of our interactions, our communications, tend to be, when we're living in the old paradigm, will always come from one of these three energy positions. Always. Now within EAM, we call them the energy drama triangle, because it's actually, for me, it's about an energetic perspective. It's not about, it's not just about communication. There is an energy that's happening underneath that. And that's why we call them the pusher, The pusher, protector, and the puller, because that is what their energy is doing. That's what their energy is sending out or projecting out in any of these interactions. So let me describe for you these three people, because we have all been all of them at some point in our life, and we are all of them all the time, unless or until we choose to shift our energy and our focus to the new paradigm way of living. And I'll tell you what the way to do that is. So let me just describe the pusher for you. So this is the pusher. The pusher energy is somebody who is kind of does what it says on the tin. They are pushing their energy onto you. They are the people who are vicious. They're the people who tend to be a little bit poisonous with the words. They're spiteful. They'll threaten you. They will try and use fear and shame and blame and guilt. All of those things that they are pushing and projecting their stuff onto you. They're the people that will be in your face like, you've done this, you've said that. We've all had that at some point, or we've all been that person at some point. Now, these are the people that will try to manipulate a situation from a very push energy kind of place. They will lie, they will cheat, they will make up stories, they'll do anything to allow themselves to stay in this place of being righteous and victorious in the way that they act, or that they are somehow the ones that are in the right, and you're the one, it's you're the one that's got to change. It's nothing to do with them. They're not at fault. It's you did this, you said that. Anyone recognize this? Can someone give me a comment underneath if they recognize this? So the pusher energy is like this, pushing their energy on you. Now then we have the protector energy. Now, actually, I'll explain the puller next. So the puller energy, in order for there to be a pusher, there has to be somebody that is having their energy pushed at. So the puller energy, the reason that we call them the puller is actually because they tend to pull energy from here. But somehow they seem to be the ones that are on the receiving end of the pusher. They're the ones who are almost holding back the wave of energy from the pusher. But they are also the people who are the most childlike in the situation, meaning they're the ones who are like, I have no power to shift and change this. I can't do this. This person said this about me. They did this, they did that. They said these things, they've done these things, they've talked about me, they've done these things. It's always like the poor me, basically. It wasn't my fault. This is almost like this. It wasn't my fault. I had nothing to do with it. I am powerless to shift or change this situation. It's all about them or them or them or them. Somebody else did this to me and I can do nothing about it. That's kind of the general energy of the puller. Now, the pullers tend to also have somebody around them that we call the protector. Now, the protector energy tends to be those people who like to step in and intervene in a situation. They'll tend to be stepping in somewhere between this pusher and this puller energy, and they'll be the ones that are like, it's okay, I'll save the day. I tend to always describe them as kind of riding in on their big white horse, like, don't worry, I'll do it, it's all fine, I'll sort it all out for you. And they'll be the ones that are trying to help this puller. It all comes from a place of love-ish, but they're the ones that are trying to step in and help this puller, sort things out, or step in the way and stop them from getting attacked by this person, or helping that person even when they may not have asked for that help. Anybody recognize themselves in that? Anyone ever been this person? I know I have. This is the one who's always kind of the righteous one in the, that's not fair, that's not right. And they're always trying to sort the situation out. But what tends to go on with this is these people will do something for somebody. And then if this person isn't grateful, it's kind of like, for those of you who have seen Catherine Tate's sketch, the old grandma who's like, what a, insert swear word, liberty. Like, these are the people who'll be like, I did this for them, I did that for them, I did this for them, and they didn't appreciate it. Oh my God, I did this and this and this, and they never said thank you. Can you give me a thumbs up or heart if that's ever been you at some point? Has it? I know I've done it. I did all of this for this person, and this is how they repay me. This is what they've done. We've all done it. Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you is because we have all been all of these, and we are all of these at some point, unless or until we choose to step into the new paradigm. All of these are old paradigm ways of living. Every single one. You cannot be in one of these three energy positions and be in flow and be living in the new paradigm. All of them are out of flow ways of being. However, the way to live in the new paradigm with all of this is to come from your place of power. Now, this is not always easy, especially if you are somewhere stuck in the middle of this drama, because it's so easy for us to step into any one of these three, and you will naturally go into one of these three places because we've been conditioned to respond. Everything we see in our world is shaped around this. Every soap that you watch on TV, every film that you watch on TV, every documentary, every news article, everything in our world is shaped in one of these three ways. Very rarely do people talk about coming from their place of power. Now, when I use the word power, I don't mean overbearing on somebody. I mean coming from that inner place of strength, where you come from a place of flow, where you come from the new paradigm, where you come from a place of love, where you come from a place of righteousness in knowing that it's right for you and not allowing yourself to be influenced or swayed or pushed or cajoled or dragged into some drama that is somebody else's stuff and absolutely nothing to do with you. When I talk about coming from your place of power, it's about you learning to and owning it and managing your own energy so that the response you give is from that place of responding, not reacting to a situation. So how do you do that? Now, obviously, the answer to that is the 5 steps of EAM. It's all about learning to recognize these three. I mean, there is so much more to these 3 energy positions that I've talked about here, but it's about learning to come from that place of power. And it isn't something that you can just do overnight, because what we first have to do is to recognize what these patterns are and let those patterns go from our energy so that they're no longer part of who we are and don't become our automated responses when we are in a situation. So part 1 is actually letting go of all of those patterns and all of the times that we've done those things in the past, because they are still somewhere carried in our energy, in our aura. So once you've worked on letting go of those, then it's kind of like a big energy spring clean. Then when you're in a situation, it's about recognizing which one of these 3 positions you are in, or which one of those positions you are likely to react from and to communicate from. It's almost that instant response where you're like, ah, and you might want to reply with the, and that was the swear word texting, by the way. You might want to just react to something rather than actually responding. So the way to start, and again, this is much bigger than I can possibly share on the call today, but the way to start doing this is recognize which of those 3 energy positions are coming at you. Recognize how you are reacting. What does this situation do to your energy? What thoughts and beliefs do you have coming up around what they've said or what they've done? Are you going, oh, I did this for that person, and I did that for that person, and I did this for this person, and this is how they are repaying me? What emotions have you got coming up? Now, if you're here on this video, hopefully you already know something about EAM, or you're inside the 5 Days to Flow group. But if not, there are different ways that you can use the 5 steps of EAM to approach all of those things. What happens to your energy? So pay attention to what's going on inside. What does it make you feel sick? Does it make you feel overwhelmed? Does it make you feel like you're being pushed down or held back? Does it make you feel drained? What thoughts and beliefs do you have coming up around it? Write down everything that you've got that's going through your mind, and you can work through each of those beliefs individually with the 5 steps of EAM. Then, if any of you are familiar with this, the emotional scale, which hopefully she says, I'm going to try and find this super quickly. The emotional scale, which we use within EAM, and we use this a lot, is to find out which emotions you have. And this is the moment that I can't find it. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Yes, I can. This is the emotional scale that we use within EAM. And you can use the sway to find out which of those emotions you're carrying about this situation or about the people that are involved in it as well. So there are 3 different ways you can start to approach this. Like I said, there is much, much more to this, but these are 3 different ways that you can begin to change the energy dynamics that you have going on in these relationships. Now, especially around this time of year, at Christmas time, this might be kind of poignant for some people if you are going to be connecting with friends and family members who might be living in the old paradigm, and there might be some old family dramas coming up over the Christmas period, or maybe you're not looking forward to seeing your family because you know that they are one of the people that live in one of these places quite frequently. Please give me a smiley face or a heart or something if everybody recognizes those. So the work for you to do is to pre-pave that. Make sure that you've done the work on yourself about how you're feeling about those people that you know are likely to come, who might come from one of those places, so that you're not putting any more energy into that situation and co-creating more of that stuff with them over the Christmas period. So if you know that you've got people in your family or friends around you who might happen to live in this place, then I really recommend that you do the work on this before you see them, so that you can come from a place of love and so that you can actually create a nice time when you're going to be with those people, so that it doesn't become the experience that you are expecting it to be, or that you would typically expect it to be. Now, for those of you who haven't yet seen, we are going to be talking so much more about this. In fact, we've got about half a day focused on this at our 3-day live event that's coming up at the end of January, the Ultimate Self-Help Live. If you want to come and find out more about that, then please do come over and take a look at ultimateselfhelplive.com to find out more about the event, because it's going to be epic. And we are actually going to be doing this work. We're going to be doing the work on these 3 areas and making sure that you can always come from this place of power. We're actually going to dedicate some time. I'll be there. Our team of amazing mentors are going to be there, supporting you on actually doing the work that sits behind this, so that you're not co-creating more of these situations in your life in every interaction that you have, because this will keep you stuck in the old paradigm. This will keep you in old ways of living. It will take you out of flow. It is almost impossible it is impossible to be in flow when you're in any one of those 3, because all of them are out of flow positions for you to be in. What I want for you is to be here, to be living in the new paradigm, so that you're always coming from a place of power. And that's exactly what we're going to be looking at over the 3-day event. On day 2, actually, we're going to be solely focused on working on relationships, so that you can let go of these patterns of things that happen or have happened possibly in your life in the past, and the dynamics that we have in our family relationships.